What's cracking, everybody? Sleep Deprived Felrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the team that House Stark hit Legend with in the Spring Cup late last week. Yes, you've probably seen this team on like multiple content creators' videos at this point. But you know what? I ran it. I had a good time with it. I wanted to share my battles, so sue me. So here we go. Gonna get straight into the battles today. And please continue. Hear us, Niantic. Do not let them ignore us. You tell them, you fools, we want to be heard. And don't, just retweet it, whatever you need to do just to keep it alive. We're not to be ignored. We need to be heard. So anyway, this team is a Walrein Trevenant team, which is extremely original, as we are all very well aware by this point. This core has been around for like 5 seasons now. We're all very well versed with it, but what we've done is we've sandwiched a Ferrothorn in the middle of it as the closer, and we have put Trevenant in as the safe swap, which is essentially giving us 2 Pokemon that have really strong play against the Tentacruel, which is on just about every team, if not every other team, and Trevenant just a really strong safe swap in a meta without something like Walrein or Charizard to come and eat its cereal, so to speak. Now, speaking of cereal, we've seen a Mantine in the back, and I don't know what cereal has anything to do with a Mantine. I just wanted to go with the cereal analogy for a minute. But we've got a Tropius that comes in here just asking for the Walrein to come and farm it down. Now, I don't remember how the counts go. I'm pretty sure it's 4 to the Leaf Blade, so I bank on that, and I'm able to thankfully farm down. The Mantine's going to come back in and eat a bunch of Icicle Spears before it gets to just have itself taken out by my Trevenant, as it's going to be able to get to a Shadow Ball with enough energy to spare. Plus, I know that my opponent, maybe the only thing that they can do against me is hit me with an Aerial Ace, which is very unlikely to happen. Or at least it's not going to take me out from this range, so we're good here. So Aerial Ace is there. It's going to go, and they're going to hit me with the Aerial Ace. I'm going to bank both of those Icicle Spears for later, and I'm just going to get them to throw their energy. I'm going to clear the debuff off my Walrein, let them go for the Aerial Ace trainer. That's the only way. But unfortunately for my opponent, they were not really going to be able to win that no matter what. So, well played to them though, still. Good game. And then here's the thing, the Trevenant leads. Alright, this is how I play every single Trevenant lead. I go straight for Icicle Spear, and I don't care what happens at that point. I'm either going to get a shield, I'm going to do a bunch of damage to the Trevenant, or they're going to catch it. And then I'm going to swap to my Trevenant after this game when I realize that's probably what I should start doing. I usually swap to my Trevenant right away afterwards. I was still kind of doing a little bit of learning with the team at this point. Plus, we counter swap now, or we safe swap into Trevenant. We didn't draw to Walrein. They just safe swapped in their Walrein at the same time. So this sucks. So I'm realizing I'm only going to be able to get to the Seed Bomb here and not a Shadow Ball. I am going to go for the Seed Bomb, even though I know it's super effective. I guess I could have gone to this. I could have gone to the Shadow Ball, but what's the difference? I'm going to come up with my Ferrothorn, and I'm going to attempt to farm this all the way down to try and make up for this unfortunate thing that has happened to me in this battle, which was blind swapping into a thing that hard counters my safe swap. Now, to be clear, I may have drawn out that Walrein either way with my Trevenant safe swap, but it still sucks because when when we have even energy, it's a much worse matchup, right? So I'm leaving with a loaded Ferrothorn, just waiting to see what they come in with next. And I'm expecting it to be that dang Trevenant. But they come in with Dugong instead, so my stupid self decides, you know what, I'm going to throw a Flash Cannon blindly, and then I'm going to throw an Icicle Spear bait. It's all going downhill from here, guys. There's absolutely nothing here that I can do to salvage this game. It's nothing I can do. It's over. And as soon as they shield that, I'm like, nah, man. Maybe I could have tried to play that out since I still had a shield, but I feel like there was no way that I was going to be able to survive those Shadow Claws plus the Icicles, the Ice Shards that came my way. So Mawile is another really tricky thing for this team, and even if it's a Shadow, build up to Earthquake, go for Icicle Spear. My opponent makes a brilliant catch. Absolutely wonderful catch. And I come in immediately with Ferrothorn here. Now, the reason I come with Ferrothorn is because Ferrothorn is going to be the one thing that has absolutely the least amount of play against a Mawile. Even my Trevenant can still hit it with a Shadow Bomb or do a bunch of damage with the Shadow Claws. So I'm going to farm up to 100 energy because I know that there's no way that this Jellicent can one-shot me with anything. And then I'm going to go for the Power Whip, and I'm going to try and get the Flash Cannon off against Mawile when it comes back in to feast upon my poor Ferrothorn, but I chicken out like a casual, and I throw the Power Whip. Pretty sure I could have got to a Flash Cannon, but it is what it is. They're low enough now that I could definitely go for an Icicle Spear and almost take them out. So they go for Power Up Punch because why not? I mean, it's the right play here, I think. Icicle Spear is going to get the shield from them, and now I can just simply go for another Icicle Spear, but they make yet another catch. This opponent is an absolute Chad, but unfortunately the problem is that they're safe swapping, or their counters. Can't speak today. Goodness gracious. My opponent is catching the moves like a Chad, but doing it when I have double grass against double water. Unfortunately, no matter how many times you catch, the team comp is just not in their favor. However, if this was a neutral game, I feel like they probably would have outplayed me and I would have lost for sure. But this team comp in my favor, and unfortunately nothing that they could do no matter how much of a great play they made. So I'm going to go for double Seed Bomb here, take out the Mawile, and Lantern's got like 1-2 HP, I think, but still alive. No, it got taken out. I hate when they, like, when it swap, when, like, an opponent's Mon goes down, and it looks like a swap, and you can't tell, and you can't remember if they actually went down or not, and you're in the middle of the battle, and you're like, I don't know. I hate it. But anyway, well played to my opponent. Like, that was seriously a great game. Unfortunately, the team comp just completely destroyed him. Anyway, let's run it back and see how it goes against what usually happens when my opponent isn't completely 5-head and catches like a champion. We're going to go for a CMP tie here. My opponent is going to get the move. I'm pretty sure this is still just a power-up punch, but I don't remember the Fire Fang counts, to be honest, so I'm just going to say I'm going to shield. Because what happens here is we both shield, but because of how long it takes for the opponent to get some moves, I can win the 2s here. Or wait. No, I think I lose the 2s, especially if I let this go. I don't remember how much damage those Fire Fangs do afterwards, but I wasn't willing to find out. I'm just going to go and chip with this Icicle Spear here. And here's the crazy low IQ, maybe big brain play. I'm going to farm down with Trevenant. And the Fire Fangs are ripping down. No, I do go for this Seed Bomb here just to guarantee that I don't get completely mauled here. I'm hoping that whatever they've got in the back might be Waters, or it's a Lurantis. That's a very spicy pick that I did not see coming. And then my opponent tries to catch the... I think they miscounted there. They try to catch a Flash Cannon on their Marshtomp, but I think they undercounted by 1. But I'm going to be able to get this off now. Unfortunately, for me, I have to shield because if they hit me with a superpower, that's going to be game over. However, I am going to be able to get the Flash Cannon off, but they didn't go for the superpower, which means this may or may not KO them from this range. It doesn't. Oh my goodness. This sucks, but they do have to go for a move in order to take me out, which is going to be most of their energy, I feel. And at this point, I should be able to farm down. Now, my opponent does have energy, but it's either double resisted superpower or resisted leaf blade with a debuff, and thankfully because of that debuff, I'm able to survive and get another Shadow Claw in and win the game. Well played to my opponent. Super, super close. Roserade, another great lead for Walrein because of its ice typing, and mostly just due to its ice moveset, but my opponent comes in with Mantine, and I'm like, okay, shoot, this is kind of rough. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to go for an Icicle Spear to chip it, and then I'm going to come in with Ferrothorn here. And, love my wife. She's having such a great time. Just watching very funny videos in the background, just laughing. I love it. I love this moment. So basically just going to go for Power Whips here by managing my energy and the timing against the Mantine. And now they're at a point where I can just farm down. And even though Roserade could one-shot me from here with ease, I am still going to be able to farm down and threaten with a Flash Cannon. And that's exactly what I plan to do. I'm not going to go for the Power Whip. They're going to take me out here. I'm going to go straight for Flash Cannon. And that's it. I'm good. That's it. Ferrothorn has not done its job. And they get taken out. And here comes an Araquanid, and I'm like, oh my goodness. This is like the one thing that could probably beat this core, especially with 2 shields. So I still have to dance this dance quite carefully. I'm going to go for a bait, hoping that maybe they shield it. And I get so lucky that they shield a potential Earthquake. I don't think that was the correct play, but they also don't know what I have in the back. and somehow they're able to get damage off before I can even get a move in, which is really unfortunate. I did really want to get that Icicle Spear off. Now, I don't need it, mind you. I have a shield advantage. They throw Bubble Beam because I was counting, and I'm making sure that I know, because as soon as they threw that Bug Buzz, they need to get up to 20 more Bug Bites for another Bug Buzz. Otherwise, it's just going to be Bubble Beam. So my opponent shields my bait, which is huge because now the Shadow Ball is going to go through, and that's basically going to put them in a range where Seed Bomb can take them out, and I can safely double shield, and a Seed Bomb will do enough. Even with 1 or 2 Bubble Beam debuffs, that's going to be a good game. So close, well played. Still had to manage that one quite a bit, but Trevenant just putting so much work against this Araquanid, that's going to be a good one. So we got this next game right here. We're going to have a Walrein and a Trevenant yet again. Now this is where I started wisening up a little bit and playing it the correct, or at least what I believe is the correct way. I actually don't know how Stark plays it, which, by the way, if I didn't mention, this is his team. How Stark created this team. Yeah, I did. I definitely said it at the beginning because he made it. I said he made it legend with it last week. Man, I told you I'm sleep deprived, Felrose. I can't remember anything. That's my memory is terrible. So this is why I safe swap into the Trevenant. They often actually try to stay in. They still, I'll give them their shield back, but I've got energy, and they come with a Tentacruel, and I can easily go for Shadow Balls here. I could even go for a second Shadow Ball because it's like they're either going to throw a resisted Scald here, or they're going to go for an Acid Spray. And if they go for the Acid Spray, then I'm able to get the Shadow Ball. But unfortunately, they do enough damage with the Scald in order for me to get taken out here. So I do come in with my Ferrothorn at this point, just because that's the hard counter to Tentacruel, and I'm able to get to 100 energy, go for a couple Power Whips here, and then I'm going to just try to make sure that my Walrein, like this person, just going to try to make sure that my Walrein can finish off this game for me here. Now, I do shield because my defenses have been lowered and they have a Scald, but I come in immediately with my Walrein hoping to farm down, but unfortunately I'm not able to. So now what I have to do, because I know that they have now thrown all of their energy, I just have to get to a couple Power Whips. And thanks to the fact that they just threw all their energy, I can safely go one throw, and see what they've got in the back as well here. It's going to be the Pelipper, so unfortunately, hoping to get him on a catch. My only win condition here is if they don't swap out. And they don't swap out. Maybe they weren't counting, didn't know I was at a second Power Whip, but now I'm able to get the Power Whip off and take them out. And this, now, I know that this Tentacruel is not at a move. They threw all of their energy. This is all I'm doing here is counting, and I'm making sure I know these counts. My opponent was one shy of the move there, and they would have absolutely won if I tried to farm down. So well played. This next game here against my buddy Reezy, y'all know Reezy at this point. He's a good guy. Just go follow him on Twitter. I don't know where else he does anything, but you need to follow him. He's a cool dude. He's running a Trevenant lead, and so I'm going to do the same thing as I always do. I'm going to swap my own Trevenant in here, and I'm just going to hope for the best, because honestly, Trevenants are tough to play around because they're just very unopposed in this meta. I was thinking about staying in for a minute there, but I didn't, and now he's at a Shadow Ball potentially, so I have to respect it. Goes for the Seed Bomb. Well done, bait. Has energy, but now I'm up against his Shadow Walrein, and we see MP tie. I know that Though Tactical put out the video on the switches and how they are consistent. And they are consistent, but they're frustratingly consistent when I don't want them to be, right? Like, I always seem to get the one-turn swap, and then my opponent seems to get the zero-turn swap. It's just very frustrating. Anyway, I don't pay enough attention. I just swap when I need to swap, and that's all there is to it. So, my opponent now, he's going to have to come in with that Trevenant, or whatever's in the back. And to a loaded Ferrothorn, Trevenant is a good pick because he's going to be able to absorb the energy. And he's got an Alolan Shadow Ninetales in the back. And I'm like, okay, can I get this thing with a Flash Cannon? I try to catch the Weather Ball on my Walrein. And then I'm going to go straight for Earthquake. All I need to do is get a shield. And he does his shield. He knows how much damage that Earthquake does. And the Mad Lad doesn't shield. Gonna go for a Psyshock here because he knows. He knows. And he's got it, dude. He has the energy to go for the Weather Ball, and he gets me in this one. With 1 HP and a Dream, the ELO and Ninetales fires off that Weather Ball to clinch it for him. Good game, Reezy, dude. That was an amazingly close game. And he messaged me afterward. He's like, yo, good game earlier. And I'm like, wait, we played? And that was me because I wasn't looking at who I was playing before the game started. So Tentacruel leads. What I do here is I go straight for Earthquake, because if they throw before I get to Earthquake, it's a Scald or an Acid Spray. Okay. I'm going to swap after this into my Tentacruel, or into my Trevenant. But getting the Earthquake off here either guarantees big damage or a shield, and I get the shield, which is huge. And now Trevenant's going to come in and start doing work. And my opponent stays in, and I'm like, this is another Acid Spray. I don't care. There's the Acid Spray, just as we thought. And here comes a Roserade, and now up a shield. This is still dangerous, because if I'm not mistaken, I just saw it had Poison Jab. And that hurts. Now my opponent does go for... They do the right thing. They shield the potential Shadow Ball, but I'm not able to get to a Shadow Ball, so I just have to go for a double resisted freaking Seed Bomb and cry. And they bait me with a Weather Ball, and I'm like, I farm down. Okay. I was happy enough with that. I'm going to go for the Earthquake when the Tentacruel comes back in, and then see what they've got in the back. And because they had Tentacruel in the lead, I'm expecting there to be another Grass type in back. And there's the Trevenant, seeing if I can make it to this Ice School Spear in time, which I can. And I'm going to shield this up, I believe, because now that basically is going to put my opponent in range for Ferrothorn to simply just get to a Power Whip and take it out. And that's going to be a good game. So, very, very nice team here. I like this team a lot. It has a lot of play against so much of this meta. It's super strong. And as someone who hates playing like super high top meta stuff, like I used to hate playing the Trevenant Walrein cores because I would always get core broken by the people running Obstagoon like they should be. That it just, I don't know, it feels weird to run something like this when I've always forsaken running stuff like this. But you know what? I'll take the wins, man. I'll take them. So the opponent has a Dugong here. And Dugong is kind of scary because that Ice Shard damage is fairly, you know, it's there. It exists and it hurts. But I'm going to go for a Seed Bomb. I'm going to making sure that I throw with okay timing. It's not good. Just to make sure that I can try and clip them from this Icy Wind. But they get to it just in time, and unfortunately I'm not able to take them out. So all I had to do was do one more Shadow Claw and CMP tie them, and that actually would have taken them out without giving them the opportunity to get that that Icy Wind in. But my opponent's going to come in with the Trevenant. I know that I live the Seed Bomb from this range quite nicely, and I can go for... I was going to go for an Ice School Spear, but they swapped into Tentacruel, and I'll just hard counter them now with my Ferrothorn. And the nice thing about this matchup still is I can come out of it with plenty of energy, or I can come out of it with plenty of HP, depending on if I decide to overfarm or not. So they go for the Acid Spray. Completely irrelevant at this point. We've both got a shield. I'll spend my shield here because they got up to the Scald. No, I won't. Usually I would spend my shield there, but I think I was pretty confident that I was going to live that Scald. And I thought maybe they might go for another Acid Spray. My opponent now comes in with Trevenant to farm me down, and this is actually getting super close, and I have to let this go. And now I'm going to put my hopes and my prayers into the Walrein having enough HP to farm down the Trevenant, and it does by just a hair, and that's a great game to my opponent. Man, that was stressful, because I didn't know if I was going to make it. Abomasnow, this is an okay lead. Obviously, we don't want the backline to see it, so you kind of want to stay in here. It's nice because you do double resist the Ice Powder Snow damage, but if they land an Energy Ball, that's going to hurt a lot. So, trying to correctly shield an Energy Ball here, I never really assume they're baiting. I always... Whenever I don't shield, I get hit with an Energy Ball. Whenever I do decide to shield, it's a Weather Ball. It's just a 100% all the time thing. So, I just shield no matter what. Earthquake is going to come through and get a ton of HP off of that Tentacruel, and I'm going to come in with my Ferrothorn and just load up on energy. I'm going to farm it all the way down. Why not? The opponent's Abomasnow is sitting at, I believe, around 60 or so percent. So even if I were to fire off a resisted Power Whip, that's still fairly, it's a fair amount of damage. But I could easily just go straight for a Flash Cannon here, or I could bait. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bait, because most of the time people are going to expect you to just go for the big move with all that energy. So I'm just going to go for it. And then I'm also going to chicken out and not throw the flash cannon because I think they're going to get to a weather ball to take me out before I can get there. So I force both shields off my opponent. Then I immediately instant swap, and they have a lantern, and I'm going to earthquake. And now I'm like, all right, it's a lantern, right? There's not much that they can do. They have to throw the thunderbolt to take me out. Otherwise, I'll load up on energy. And at this point, I can just come in with my Trevenant, load up on energy, and farm down and get a Shadow Ball off on the Abomasnow, and that's going to take them out. And that's basically going to be game right here. So, you know, once again, super strong team. Shout out to House Stark, content creator over on Twitch. Go check him out because he's a really awesome battler, really high-level battler as well. And makes a lot of great teams. This isn't the first time I've plucked a House Stark team off of his channel to use on my channel. But just that's how good his teams are. And sometimes, you know, I like to use each other's teams because they're good. Anyway, so that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. We're going to catch you tomorrow in the Evolution Cup top teams. So hit the bell and subscribe if you're looking forward to that. And I'll thank you all so much. You have a great one. Bye-bye. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.